Welcome to Talak-E-Talks where we talk about anything and everything na bet namin pag-usapan. My name is Tilapia Words back.
Hello, we're back. I am Shamsi Sapsap, and before we proceed, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel dito sa YouTube, and we're also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Pare, welcome back!
Hello!
It's been almost 2 months din tayo nag-break, di ba?
Correct. Ang
Well,
tagal ng bakasyon.
technically, dapat holiday break lang yun. Di ba? Kasi sobrang busy natin sa ating respective works. Kasi
Correct.
side chore ba lang naman ito. Pero nag-enjoy naman tayo masyado sa ating walang ginagawa. Nag-enjoy naman so nag-extend tayo ng slide. But we're back. And we're back with a
Yeah,
vengeance, with a new look. Di ba? Parang ganon.
absolutely. Yes, thank you. Na-miss niyo ba kami? Yung mga million-millionis naming mga listeners dyan.
So technically, para itong season 2 natin. Season 2, first episode. Pero ano, 78 na ba or 79? Siyempre, hindi ko chinek, di ba? Handang-handa tayo. So yun nga muna. Thank you muna kay Chambolero for our new look. So, bagong bihis tayo, girl.
Correct, 'di ba? New year, new look, new beginning,
We
'di
are
ba?
we are chambified, di ba? Taray. So, you can check
Yes.
Chambolero's account sa Twitter. It's TSAMBOLERO. And he is open for commission work din, kagaya ng ginawa namin. So, check his work out. Siya ang author and artist ng Ang Jowa Kong Crosswise, di ba? From Pen Lab.
Yes, thank you so much, Shambi.
Thank you. So, ito na nga ang ating season 2 first episode. Oh, Ferrari, first episode. Pero 17 na. We're going to talk about the latest movie released. One of the latest movie pala kasi technically
Parang fresh na fresh, 'di ba?
meron na mas bago, di ba? Yung No Way
Actually,
Home. Kaso hindi mo pa napapanood. So,
correct.
we are gonna talk
Mm.
about Eternals muna tayo. So,
Yes.
Eternals is directed by the Academy-winning director Chloe Zhao. She won
Mhm.
for Nomadland last year, but she started working
Mhm.
for Eternals even before siya manalo ng Oscar. So parang
Mhm.
alam mo yun, parang, uy, nagiging Oscar winner na ang may hawak ng Eternals. So Eternals yung parang fourth film feature ng MCU sa Phase 4. No, pang third pala. Sorry, pang third. Kasi ang nauna ay, for the Phase 4, ang nauna yung Black Widow, then
Mhm.
Shang-Chi, Eternals, tapos ito nga yung latest, No Way Home, na we will have an episode din naman kapag napanood mo na, di ba?
Eventually,
Eventually.
God willing.
Oo. Nakakaloka ka tayong malood. At balik tayo sa Eternal. So,
Mm.
All-Star cast pa rin ba? Oh yeah, basta full ano to eh. Hello, Salma Hayek,
Oo
Richard Madden. Ang
naman.
sarap-sarap ng Richard Madden.
Angelina
Ah,
Jolie, 'di
well, of
ba?
course. Parang siya yung pinaka-biggest, biggest talaga,
Mm.
biggest.
Pagbilling ang pag-uusapan, 'di ba?
But kung kumalan Johnny, Don Lee, Arish Patel, Kit Harington, at si Gemma Chan, na
Of
we love.
course.
Okay, bakit natin pag-usapan ng Eternals? Well, because we are MCU fans at
First and foremost.
first and foremost. At
Mm.
actually, girl, ito ang
Mm.
first, if you go to the Rotten Tomatoes website where they rank films,
Mhm.
right? Girl,
Yes.
ito ang first MCU movie na Balljack, 48% critic. Though mataas naman ang audience
Mm.
score, which is 78. That's not bad. That's still high.
Oo.
Pero sa critics, girl, lost. Ito ata, out of the 27 movies ng MCU na ranked sa Rotten Tomatoes,
Mhm.
ito ang pinaka-putot. As in, 48% ang first talaga nila,
Rotten.
Rotten. So, let's talk about that. Kasi, 'di ba, intriguing. Ikaw, what's your take?
Okay. I kinda like it, but I totally get kung bakit siya polarizing and why people would hate it. Ang sa akin kasi, I love the theme. I love what they're going for. Pero I also realize na parang yung format nila, parang it's not best dun sa story that they're trying to tell. Anyway, I will expound on that later. when we go into the nitty-gritty.
Well, ako naman, I really
Mm.
kasi sobrang
Mm.
pinilahan ko 'to kasi I was super
Mm.
excited when I heard na ano siya,
Mm.
wide release siya. So
Mm.
pumunta ako sa sinehan para panoorin 'to. Well, most lang kahit may takot ako sa COVID, ang
Mm.
pinapanood ko lang talaga for the last year or I mean the last few weeks ay mga
Mm.
MCU movies lang.
Mhm.
Sa first yung ano para and this was released sa Disney Plus recently.
Mhm.
So, mas napanood ko lang ulit siya ng a few more times. And I must admit na mas na-appreciate ko siya after rewatching it a couple more
Ah,
times.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes, hindi ako super wow factor nung after watching it for the first time sa sinihan. Kasi nga, it's not your usual or typical MCU movie. Iba yung
Mhm.
atake, iba yung
Mhm.
treatment. At gets ko
Mhm.
yun in some ways after seeing it a couple more times. Kasi nga, actually yun nga yung parang gusto ko dun in a way dahil iba yung atake dito na because the Eternals are technically parang nasa level sila ng God. Hindi sila yung superheroes na
Correct.
nasa mundo na nagkaroon na may spider bite or ano na enhance or whatever.
Mm.
They are celestial beings, 'di ba? Parang may ganung level. No, so yun yung
Mhm.
distinction na nagustuhan ko in a way na okay. In some ways this is how you separate it from the MCU universe if that makes sense to you. Parang kaya iba yung atake talaga dito.
Actually, yun nga, yung novel factor, I think that's what intrigued me the most. Yun nga, di ba, I'm a comic book fan, so I am familiar with yung, alam mo yun, yung history, yung mythos ng Eternals, yung ginawa ni Jack Kirby sa comics. So anyway, a bit of a backstory. So dito tayo mag-umpisa. And,
Oh.
parang it would kind of segue ko why I appreciate it. Kasi ano I mean, when we talk about MCU or Marvel comics for the casual readers, parang they don't really, parang medyo obscure yung Eternals They're really not like the Avengers or um, parang yun nga, pag sinabi mo yung, alam mo yun, yung when they drop their names, not everyone is familiar with them, right? So, what I appreciate is yung how they revise or they re-envisioned or reimagined yung mga Eternals from the comics. Kasi sa comics, medyo convoluted yung yung backstory nila. Basically, it still involves Celestials, pero sa comics kasi, parang thousands of years ago, parang they plucked early humans, experimented on them, tapos gumawa sila ng Deviants, tapos gumawa ng Eternals. So parang nagkaroon ng parang one big godly experiment, kumbaga. Right? Dito kasi, well, basically, parang ano sila what do you call that term? Parang, they're more like, parang minions nila, di ba? For their grand scheme.
Na in this movie ni Arishem, right?
Correct, right? Ni Arishem. And then, yun, I appreciate the fact na natuwa ako when they touched on yung concept ng Mad Weary, yung kasi it's also part of the comics yung parang yung mga Eternals sisira na ulap because they have so much memory kasi they've lived for like thousands of years, diba? Yeah. So eventually parang magka-crack yung mind nila or give in to that parang information overload, kumbaga, right? And yung concept na Unimind, right? Although sa comics kasi nung when when you visualize yung Unimind, talagang literal na malaking utak.
Well,
parang yung
actually,
pina-form nila
actually yung part na yun, super cheesy yung Unimind. And I appreciate sa script they made fun of yung eksena yun. Kasi parang ang cheesy talaga ng Unimind.
Yung concept, di ba?
Oo.
It's really based or truthful to the comics. Now, with that said, and I think this is something that kind of naging crutch ng movie. I agree with you. Sa first viewing, yung initial thought ko is wow, what a weird movie compared to the
The
other
usual MCU,
correct, the usual
offering, di ba?
MCU. Exactly, 'di ba? And then I had initially una mapapansin mo yung issues with the pacing 'di ba? Medyo mabagal ang takbo ng story. It's a slow burn, I would say, but at the same time, there's just like too much or a lot of information that's being fed sa'yo. And yun nga only on your second or probably third, yung mga succeeding viewing mo, dun mo lang ma-realize or dun mo lang ma-feeling yung mga gaps. So I guess that's yun parang yun yung parang pinaka overall critique ko, there's just a lot of things that it wants to do. Parang napaka-monumental task ang gusto niya accomplish ng movie na to in under what, 2 hours? Right?
Pero
Remember,
kasi pero kasi may factor din kasi kung tutuusin parang origin movie 'to, 'di ba, ng
exactly,
Eternals.
right?
So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yun nga eh, parang it's trying to be a lot of things at the same time. Remember, so origin story ng Eternals, right? And at the same time, we're focusing on what? Like at least 10 characters, right? That's how it's presented to us. Each character has, considering na may different motivation sila, may interesting backstory sila. And then that's happening along with yun nga, yung defeating yung secondary villains, yung arrival ng deviants, or yung pagbalik nila, and then yung race against time to save the world because of the emergence. Parang ang daming kailangan i-process in under 2 hours. Pero with that said, kasi parang ganun din yung na I actually likened it to yung Justice League, yung unang version yung kay Josh Whedon.
Yeah, Whedon.
Right?
Yeah.
'Di ba? Pero I think Eternals did a better job. Yung paglatag ng lahat as compared to yung DC na yung Justice League.
Actually ako naman on that note, mas na-appreciate ko naman dito yung work ni Chloe Zhao. Kasi nga every time you bring in a new director sa isang, for example, let's face it, Marvel is the biggest studio right now. There's always a big chance na Kevin Feige would wrangle the whole idea of it. Pero in this movie, you can clearly see na yung point of view ni Chloe Zhao as director, like I said, yung slow pace, yung ibang treatment, yung parang hindi natakot ang MCU or ang Marvel na bigyan ng creative freedom. Kasi I feel like yung changes na nangyari, yung tone, this is a classic if you've seen Nomadland ni Chloe Zhao where she won Best Director at saka yung The Rider. Ganito yung mga movies niya, mas talagang slower pace na actually yung visuals mapapansin mo din talaga kahit Nomadland and The Rider is very like grounded na pero yung visuals niya is very striking, parang may big vistas at whatever. So na-appreciate ko na distinct pa rin yung gustong mangyari ng Chloe Zhao. And feeling ko yun yung naging parang double-edged sword in some ways kasi nga we're dealing with an MCU movie which is very commercial, and Chloe Zhao is very known as an artistic director, or this is only her full feature. Like the first three are all independent. This is her first big studio film then, 'di ba? Parang ganon. So may ganun parang hindi mo alam kung pero I for some reason I still loved it. I love it. Actually I really love it. Given na after mas na in love ako after second or third viewing. Pero like for example, biggest point sa akin is the art direction. We haven't seen at least in the MCU, parang distinct yung itsura at saka yung execution ng
yung aesthetic,
art direction nung domo, yung sa loob ng
execution
domo.
noon, I think props to that, definitely.
Especially yung first, yung sa Mesopotamia, yung bumababa sila na far shot, parang sobrang godlike. Alam mo yon, yung maliit lang sila pero yung how they descend with the gold rings na parang alam mo yun, very distinct yung how they wanna brand talaga na Eternals as godlike, or alam mo yun.
Actually nga correct. I think definitely they got plus points yung sa yung artistry, especially yung how they manifest their powers. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Parang it's all about circles, all about parang geometric shapes, right? Na even like yung subtlest na it's very evident, right? Like obviously kay Fastos, yung engineer nila or yung inventor nila, 'di ba? He would create those. But even like example, yung mga subtle ones like yung powers ni Sprite, 'di ba? Or even yung kay Ajax, 'di ba? There's always like those hints. Yung parang signature. So you can really para to be able to distinguish na the Eternals are very different from like let's say yung alam mo yung mga power signatures kumbaga ng ibang mga heroes.
And also if you remember nung yung naging issue ko sa Shang-Chi before na parang how they relate, kasi first and I've mentioned it dun sa ating Shang-Chi episode na how they relate to the blip is a big factor
Mm,
for me. So,
mm.
sobrang okay sa akin na na-address din yon nung nag-uusap si Gemma Chan at yung si Cersei at saka
Jon
Dane,
Snow.
si Jon Snow. 'Di
Mm,
ba yung parang kasi parang yun ang biggest question coming into Eternals eh. So asan kayo
mm,
nung nangyari yung blip? Anong ginawa niyo kay
mm,
Thanos? Yung bigger factor. So at least yun na-address. Yung parang we weren't allowed to meddle, 'di ba? Parang ganyan
mm.
unless deviants are parang kasali sa gulo or
Directly
whatever.
involved.
So
Right.
tapos yung pa yung naging motivation ni Ajak to change her mind. Kasi parang nung nakita niya na there are good people or yung super yung ginawa ng Avengers to bring back yung mga na-blip is something na worth kind of worth fighting for,
Correct.
worth changing for. Diba? Parang
Mm,
nakita niya yung difference ng human. So parang na-happy ako na na-address it in some ways or dun nila na-weave yung story. Yung kung sa overall MCU universe. Diba? Parang MCU universe
mm.
redundant MCU universe, sa whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, 'di ba? And also, yung
Ah,
crisscross ng Eternals sa actual yung historical na nangyari sa mga mundo natin like sa Babylon, Mesopotamia, yung sa Aztec, yung sa 'di ba, yung
correct. Even up until yung sa World War II, 'di ba? Yung bombing
oo.
ng Hiroshima.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yung kay ano 'di ba,
kay Fastos.
yung capacity yung pagiging ano niya. Yes, I remember that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yun, actually, dun papasok yung point ko earlier. I think yung story na to, it could have benefited kung, alam mo yun, if it was on an episodic format or probably could have extend the whole story into a trilogy or even a series. Alam mo yun, parang leading to that climatic battle with yung sa pag-rise ni
Limited
Tiamut.
series, no? Kahit mga 4
Kasi
episodes, no? Na parang,
correct. Tapos kada segment, alam mo yon backstory ng isang
mm,
Eternal since we're talking about 10 characters,
yeah,
backstory ng isang Eternal. Tapos, alam mo yon may significant contribution siya sa isang, alam mo yon aspect or jump starting ng humanity.
yeah,
Alam mo yon yung
yeah.
parang para mas siguro mas maging pronounced yung motivation sa mga characters and
Yeah.
mas fully developed sila. Like, take for example, nung first viewing ko, I felt like yung betrayal ni Sprite sa dulo, parang I felt like kind of,
Out
parang
of
medyo
nowhere, no?
contrived siya.
Tsaka out
Right?
of nowhere, di ba? Na
Correct. Right?
parang,
Parang, ay, sasali ako kay Aija kasi parang crush ko siya. Kasi parang ganun yung unang dating, di ba? Parang ang babaw. Pero, throughout the movie, alam mo yon makikita mo yung hints ng loneliness nung yung struggle niya eh.
mm,
Naalala mo yung sa first part, nung sa bar pa
the
lang.
bar pala, yeah, yung
Di ba? Yung
making herself older
correct, look
and,
matured, parang
yeah,
dating or parang but just being out there to experience yung human. I guess yun. But yung
yeah,
to experience yung human experience, kumbaga.
yeah.
Right? Parang tapos yun nga, yung sa wedding ni na ni na
Ni Cersei and
Percy and
Ikari.
Icaris, right? Siya lang yung hindi alam mo yun, she was the only one who wasn't smiling do
Yeah.
sa shot na yon. So, these are like the things na sa unang pasada mo, hindi
Hindi
mo
mo mapapansin,
mapapansin.
di
Pero
ba?
no sa second, dun mo siya, okay, gets ko na siya.
Mm-mm.
And I really think na, yun nga, siya, obviously, kasi nga, we're pressed for time eh. 'Di ba? Pero kung, sabi mo nga, kung series to, tapos alam mo, mahasha mo talaga yon, you would like really, connect with everybody.
And also, I think a big part of it is we are conditioned na if you're because we knew that we were watching an MCU movie. Alam mo yun,
Mm.
iba kasi yung latag ng MCU movie
Correct.
for
Yung
the last the
expectations.
last 2 years
Mm.
or yung last at least even di ba from after Endgame or Infinity War parang
Mm.
or even nga sa Guardians of the Galaxy parang alam mo na yung parang may kahit masabing distinct yung mga directors, distinct yung storyline, pero you know what to expect to an MCU movie. The level of entertainment, the level of yung parang fulfillment after you watch it, di ba? Parang may ganung level. Dito kasi iba
Correct.
talaga yung parang
Yeah.
outcome, 'di ba? Parang ang layo.
Correct.
And
Like
even
even yung comedic factor, yung mga sundot
oo,
ni Kingo at saka yung sidekick niya,
'di
which
ba?
actually I
Oo
appreciate.
nga,
Oo,
totoo.
natuwa ako. Pero aminin natin, it's very different from
Yeah. The
yung comedy from the previous
or
MCU. And
like Ant-Man or whatever or alam mo yun, or 'di
exactly.
ba? Parang ibang
Yung
level.
mga banter ng mga
Yung mga
heroes,
banters.
this time it's very different.
Mm. Pero one thing that I have to mention na parang one of the highlights for me, yung fight scene ni Makari tsaka ni Ikari sa dulo. Yung super speed na ang bilis lang ng nagandahan ako sa fight scene na yon. Yung parang for a, di ba para sino na ba mga speedster na napanood natin? Si Quicksilver, si Flash or whatever. Pero like, parang ewan ko lang, parang for some reason stand out sa akin yung fight scene ni Makari at ni Ikari sa dulo with the eyes, yung mga ganyan-ganyan.
And does not rely so much on slow motion, no?
Oo. Diba?
Kasi ironically, di ba, ganun yung that's how they portray yung power sa mga speedsters,
hello, Justice League, di ba? Yung kay Flash doon, di ba? Tagang i-slow mo talaga.
Walang kamatayan.
Kaya i-slow mo. Which is kind of, di ba, ang weird na may meta in a way na they mention Superman and Batman in this DC world. I mean in this MCU movie, 'di ba? Yung para yung bata parang Superman.
Tapos
okay, so they exist in this world, parang may ganung level, 'di ba?
Actually nga the way that they portrayed Icaris dito, 'di ba? Obviously, 'di ba? Reference naman talaga siya kay kay Superman parang majestic lang niyang tignan, 'di ba? Lalo na kapag he's just floating mid-air, tapos
I was about to say ibang level yung yung how he flies is parang different pa rin. Parang ang simple nung difference pero distinct. Alam mo yun, parang ngayon na tayo parang may presence lang talaga. Or maybe kasi wala siyang cape. Alam mo yun, wala siyang cape. Kaya iba.
Oo. And in fairness, wala tayong spoilers na warning sa
Hindi na naman ganoon ka Ay, huy, si Druig, I find Druig hot. Ewan ko
in fairness, lalo na kung naka-sleeveless siya sa community niya.
Sa akin yung accent. Ano bang accent niya? Parang
he's Irish, di ba?
I haven't checked, pero talagang problem ko. Pero ang gwapo ni Druig. Pero hindi siya super gwapo, pero parang may
may pagka-bad boy, di ba? Okay, yeah, speaking of hot, I think na one thing na recurring din sa utak ko while watching this. Ang swerte ni Gemma Chan ni Cersei. Diba? Nakangkang siya ni Robb Stark, ni Corys, at saka ni Jon Snow. Diba? Parang ang ganda-ganda. I mean, maganda naman talaga siya, diba?
Pero ang ganda-ganda.
Ang ganda talaga ni ate.
Totoo lang. Actually, yun pala hindi na-explain. Or na-explain ba? Kasi, di ba si Gemma Chan is sa Marvel, ano siya?
Eternal. Hindi
siya, di ba nasa Captain Marvel na siya?
Siya si Minerva. Siya si Minerva sa Captain Marvel.
Nadas ba yun? Or wala lang talaga? Nag-recast lang talaga sila? Parang hindi ko maalala. Kasi di ba, I mean, they could easily make her like na, I don't know. Ang weird lang kasi na mag-recast, di ba? Yun lang.
Free naman siya dun di ba? Mali mo, kamukha lang niya. Hindi naman talaga sure. Si
Tsaka di ba, shapeshifter naman sila in some ways. I was expecting na maging reason nila kasi shapeshifters sila sa sa Captain Marvel. I forgot the race. Anong name nila sa race? Yung race nila.
Kree,
di ba? Or Kree or some, yeah. Kree ba? Or hindi? Yung
Green yung Skrulls. Yun yung mga shapeshifters. Yung mga Skrulls.
Ay, hindi ba siya Skrull? Okay. So, syempre, mali-mali na ko. So, hindi siya shapeshifter. Skrull sa shapeshifters. Okay, noted. Anyway, so meron ka bang downside? Kasi ako, meron akong isa na parang yung pinaka pet peeve in some ways sa Eternal.
Ano sa'yo?
Underutilized si Tina. For me, yung character niya was underutilized. Yes, gets ko yung niya, yung plot points na, or yung, especially yung one speech niya with Cersei. Pero I felt like for Angelina Jolie, very underutilized siya. Though, doon naman sa cliffhanger, I felt like na she would have a more role sa mangyayaring Eternals 2 where Eros showed up. So parang may ganung factor naman din. Pero for this film, parang, girl, this is Angelina Jolie and this is Tina. Parang I wanted more. Parang may ganung level.
Actually, oo. Definitely. Pero, we're looking at 10 characters. Tapos yung role mo is side character talaga. Medyo mahirap talagang i-balance. Kaya Kaya nga babalik nga tayo dun sa opportunity na sana ako naging series lang to. Tapos silang dalawa ni Gilgamesh would have an episode na sila lang. And yung, alam mo yon
yung
yung
struggle nila sa Australia, di ba?
correct. Like yung how battling with Mad Weary, di ba? Which is likened to what? Parang Alzheimer's, di ba? I mean, that could have been like a powerful episode in itself. Ang sa akin lang, sa totoo lang, ang issue ko is yung plot ni o yung plano ni Icaris. Parang kasi and I've read this reviews ng iba, no. I didn't come up with this on my own, 'di ba? Pero if you come to think of it, kung ang goal ni Icaris is to proceed with the emergence, 'di ba? Alam mo 'yon, yung maisilang yung celestial, 'di ba? Bakit di na lang niya pinatay si Ajak na siya mismo? 'Di ba? Why did he have to involve yung mga deviants? Yung tapos yung nga naging powerful pa yung isa, yung si Crow, yung secondary villain. Tapos kasi and then yun yung nagpa-complicate eh. Kaya nalaman ni na Cersei, ni na Sprite na the deviants are back, and then bumalik. And tapos si Cersei yung naging napunta sa kanyang brilyante yung siya yung naging kapalit ni Ajak, right? I mean, sana ako in-establish at the start, 'di ba? Yung mga Eternals din nila pwedeng patayin yung kapwa Eternals. I mean, they could have made that clause, pero I don't recall having that rule. Pero
posible. Pero posible 'yon. Possibility na they can't, because technically they're immortal, parang deviants lang makapalit sa kanila.
We don't
know.
Alam mo yun, sana binanggit nila yun para at least may sense yung ginawa ni Icaris. Yun lang. Tapos I mean, tapos di ba parang dinala ni Icaris si Ajak dun sa, saan ba yun? North Pole ba yun? Basta
or Alaska somewhere.
Or Alaska, kasi parang bumabalik yung mga deviants, di ba?
Kasalanan ng climate change talaga. Kasalanan climate change.
Kasi di ba, like, ang point ko lang dun is, so nakita na ni Icaris na may deviants. Right? Alam na niya na nandun sila. Eh di ba ang goal ng mga Eternals is to destroy deviants. So ba't di pa niya pinatay yung mga yon? Bakit? Alam mo yon, tapos nung nalaman niya na si Ajak ay nagbalik, parang nagpalit ng, parang ayaw na, alam mo yun, ayaw na sa plano ni,
iba ng goals.
Correct, ayaw na sa plano ni Arishem, then doon niya nilagay. Wala lang, parang,
I've never even thought about that actually. So,
diba? Pero it makes sense,
yeah,
diba?
Fair point. Yeah. Fair point.
Yun.
But
tsaka pala?
It doesn't change. I still love the movie. It doesn't change.
Ayun naman. I still like it, definitely. Ito pa, bakit si Kingo wala sa final battle? Hindi ko talaga gets. I mean, fine, ginastify niya na ayaw niya, pero it contradicts din eh. Kasi di ba parang out of everybody, parang siya yung nakinabang talaga eh sa humanity, di ba? Naging sikat siya, yumaman siya. Right? So kung nawala...
Asan ba siya?
Hindi, umalis siya. Umalis si Kingo, di ba? Umalis siya kasama yung sidekick niya. Right? Nung sa final battle, wala siya. Nung sa Unimind, wala siya.
Ano? I don't even actually, I have to rewatch it. Oo nga, no. Oo nga, no. Actually, mas issue pa ko pa kay Kingo for a Bollywood star. Wala siya sa Tiyempo, ha. Wala siya sa Tiyempo. Or is it maybe it's kumalan Johnny B? Because hindi mo siya Indian, di ba? Parang Pakistani ba siya?
Pakistani siya.
O, di ba?
To be more...
Pero di ba, for someone who's into Bollywood, parang, girl, wala ka sa Tiyempo for a Bollywood star.
At pang ilang generation mo na ginagawa yun, di ba?
Okay, tapos na natin ang episode na to. I mean, overall, like I said, it's not your typical MCU movie. People, yun nga, it's either they will love it or hate this movie kasi nga, if they're expecting it to be an MCU film, it's totally different. It's like, talagang nasa end of the spectrum. At kaya din siguro, ganun yung critic scores kasi nga, they weren't expecting it. But there's a lot more that I appreciate than hate sa movie na to. Like, I really love the art and the treatment of the film. So, I'm looking forward. We're not sure kung si Chloe Zhao pa rin ang may hawak ng Eternals 2.
Eternals 2.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's been teased na naman, di ba? na
Correct.
they will have a
Feeling ko na meron naman talaga. Yes,
especially with
right.
Eros coming out in the teaser.
Ooh,
So,
diba?
looking
Harry
forward.
Styles, diba? In
I know.
fairness.
Looking forward to it. So, ikaw, what's your final verdict?
Ayun, I totally get why it's polarizing. Sabi mo nga, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Pero in terms of the concept, yung theme, at saka yung, yung introspective conflict ng, yun nga, saving the world, this world versus saving, like, life in the entire universe. Kasi yun yung pinaglalaban dun, di ba? Yun yung conflict dun eh. It kind of reminds me of, alam mo yung movie ni yung remake ni Keanu Reeves, yung The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Parang may yung ganong din eh, yung ganong themes yung in-explore din ng movie na to in some way. So overall, I liked it. Pero yun nga talaga, hindi lang talaga ako maka-get over. I think it's a sobrang missed opportunity kasi yung sobrang rich ng history nito. Right? I think kung hindi siya series, kung trilogy lang siya, para ilatag lang yung buong origin nila and how integrated it. Alam mo yun, yung they've spend more time, yung integration yun sa human history and yung pag-develop or pag-flesh out ng mga characters, I think mas
successful
natin.
Yung diba?
Definitely.
Well, yun lang. Congrats pa rin. I still love.
Yeah, but definitely looking forward to more films like these sa Marvel. I think it's still a win. All things considered, still a win on their book. Yun nga, be braver in terms of experimenting, exploring other themes, other approaches, agree. Right? I think going back kasi yung pet peeve natin sa Shang-Chi is it's very similar to yung old formula na big showdown, na diba? At least kahit paano, this is different.
So thank you for listening to us sa aming pagbabalik na episode.
Yes, we're glad to be back. I hope you guys are glad that we're back too.
Please don't forget to continue to like and subscribe to our channel here in YouTube.
Yes, and please follow us on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we're also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
My name is Tilapia Words Back.
And I am Shamsi Sapsap.
This has been another episode of Talak-E-Talks. Bye!
Bye!